is gonna be my patch notes for 14.18 tier list. Honestly, that's gonna be a lot of changes, it looks like. So a TLDR of what this guy's saying is pretty much that they're gonna be trying to get less AD carries in the mid lane, and they're gonna try to make lane swaps less likely by making it harder to get to take top plates, nerfing fleet, trying to add them more to top lane. Think jungle in a pretty good spot. I agree with this. I do think jungle, like the diversity of jungle is actually really good right now. So I think it's good that they're keeping this kind of pace up. Then they're also trying to put more mid laners, control mages, like AP champions in general, because obviously like the meta has been very AD heavy with a lot of AD carries, and I think this is good changes because they're also trying to make more AD champs in jungle work, so it kind of like balances things out, whereas beforehand, like most of this year, it has literally just been AP junglers with AD mids, and I'm happy they're finally trying to change that. Also keep in mind that this is the Worlds patch. So this patch will not actually be that good for like the state of solo queue. It's more for pro play. So like I can give you an example, right? Let's say we go here. Let's just go Diamond Plus. Well, who cares? But then we see Javan. Javan is A tier with 50.43% win rate, right? Which is, you know, above average. Then you go to Vi. Vi is a 48% win rate, D tier. And what they're doing this patch is actually nerfing Vi and buffing Javan. So as you can see, like they're not actually like, you know, they care about solo queue, but they care more about worlds, which I think is a good thing. But just keep that in mind when you're like, you know, trying to figure out why the f they're doing what they're doing. Good thing for mages? It is. It's very good for mages. And it's very good for people that like AD junglers. So like when it comes to my tier list, how it has been is kind of like this. There's a lot of AP junglers up in the top. And a lot of the AD junglers kind of like hovering around here. In the A tier, but this is gonna change a little bit now because not only like because you can't just look at, let's say we just look at only jungle changes, right? That might not give the full picture because usually jungle is a lot about, you know, matching and synergizing with your team, your laners. So if things are changing around jungle, that usually means jungle changes too. So let's look at what he said first. So he talked about Aurora. I think it's good they're nerfing Aurora. This champ is crazy. He's pretty much just saying TLDR is that, like, you know, the champion is extremely good, and with the ultimate right now it's too easy, so they're just pretty much like nerfing the ult combos because you could jump every wall, which made it very easy to get a good ulti. So I think that's good changes because now that, like, especially in pro play, people play the champion really well, trying to make it not as oppressive. Then obviously lane swap meta, trying to nerf that. Fleet nerfs. I love fleet nerfs. I'm sorry for AD carries, but this is literally just to like try to minimize how many range champs are in top and mid. So I think that's good. BT nerfs. I do think this item is really like has been really overtuned. They're also saying on some champs it's pretty good. Top lane. I do think top lane is a decent state right now. It's kind of funny to me how like Rumble is still receiving nerfs. Because like this guy has been getting so many nerfs and is still fucking strong. So like that just kind of like says how strong that champ was prior, right? So and obviously like more control mages in mid, or like AP in general. I think this is good. Something I've been like looking forward to for a long time. And I also think generally speaking when it comes to worlds, right? These champions are really fun to watch. I love watching like aggressive playmaking champions more so than 40 minutes of just AFK farming and scaling and then just hitting front to back. So I think that's good. Bot lane, I agree. It's a lot of utility right now with the bears and that kind of stuff. So bring in a little bit of Jinx and Mirror. I think that's going to be fun to watch. And that is true. That is due to a lot of AD mids. So I also agree with this. Like, I don't think you actually have to touch 6. As long as you touch like the AD mids, like that will probably change. Just like with jungle, if you change the mid laners, that will probably also change jungle, right? So I think that's right. Oh, here we go. Finally, Rill and Leona are receiving direct nerfs. Bless up. These champs have been so annoying for so long. I think Lulu buff, I don't know what the buff is yet, but hopefully it's not too big. Because I do think Lulu's like, she can be very frustrating to play against, but I do agree with them that like it's not like strong per se right now. And then here at the end, he's saying that like some of these notes will change, which means, you know, my tier list might be slightly off based off of that, so just keep that in mind because they might like change something else later. So what are they actually nerfing or buffing? Should we look at the nerfs or buffs first? I think let's look at the nerfs actually first. The nerfing Aurora, great, we talked about that. So there's 17 nerfs. You're saying 13 of these from LCK, like most picked or whatever. That's fucking crazy. So Aurora nerf good. A Seer nerf, Wait, okay, actually, let's look at Fleet. So they're nerfing Fleet too. So Azir's being nerfed whilst also receiving Fleet nerf. While also buffing control mages. So like, if I had to just like make an educated guess, so usually Azir kind of needs Fleet against a lot of control mages in order to like sustain and survive. So he's like receiving nerfs, sustain, whilst they're also buffing control mages. Oh, they're only buffing. Okay, I see. They're only buffing like actual items for control mages. But still, like when you nerf both what they, you know, when the items they use, all runes they use, and you nerf the champion, usually that can take a pretty big hit. Look at the nerfs first. So they're nerfing Azir a little bit. I mean, actually, never mind. It makes sense because it's pro play, right? Like pro play Azir is fucking good. So sure, I get that. So Corgi also receiving nerfs, also good. Fucking hate 80 carry mids, to be honest. Ivern nerf, I agree with that. I think Ivern is too strong right now. I think the champ is actually at a high level. I actually don't think Ivern is easy to play. But when it just comes to like putting shields on your carries, anyone can do that, right? So like even just with that, you can be very impactful. But like actually like controlling your Daisy whilst shielding people and like having to like have good positioning and also using like things like Michaela's Redemption, etc., etc., it gets harder and harder. So I can at a really high level, I do think Iron is actually hard to play. As coping as that sounds, I actually do. Just nerfed the top 13 champs for LCK? Yes, sir. It's pretty good. Right, knew you're a Soraka jungle player deep down. That's true. That's me, the Soraka player. Leo nerf, finally. 4 armor. That's actually a good chunk. Hopefully that'll like lower her priority because she's just a mean champion, to be honest. It's too strong. Lily nerfs. Let's see, monster cap. Oh, okay. This might... Okay, now they're starting to hit... Like, now they're starting to hit her. Like, now it's getting down to, like, the low amounts. And they also nerfed the alt sleep duration. This might, because right now on my tier list, I had her S. But if they're nerfing 80 mids, buffing AP mids, buffing 80 jungles, nerfing Lilia, I could see that, like, starting to put her lower tier. Because right now she's still very strong. She's still very strong right now. But like if you look at like the nerfs over time, like look at the win rates. Let's go down here first. At some point she was even higher. Now she's at 50.7. Now they're nerfing her again and it's the clear. And usually when you nerf the clear on champions that have to hardcore farm and get items, at some point it'll actually matter. Ribly put to sleep. Yeah, I think because they're gonna buff 80 junglers, nerfing 80 mids, buffing AP mids, I could see her being worse, but it is. I am doing a solo queue tier list, not a competitive tier list. I think in competitive this will definitely bring her down, but for solo queue, like she'll still be a good champ, you know? Because even in solo queue, like if you're playing AP jungle with AP mid, if you're playing like Lilia plus AP mid, it's not like the end of the world. It's not great, but it's not the end of the world. How much is the... Can we see Lilia patch note? How much was it they nerfed it last time for the clear? So they went from 70 to 150. Now they're just capping it at 65. So that would be, let's see before. Okay. So at level 6, usually you're doing, so like the cap would be 79 and now it'll be 65. Level 1, it's, I mean, it's a tough one because like, I've literally seen Lily be broken for so fucking long that like, I don't even know if this will like even like drag her down that much. Because this champ is just fucking so strong when she gets items. But I do think like, generally speaking, when I play Lilia, if I'm playing against like the likes of the champions that they're buffing, so like last patch it was TF, Lysandra, Ryze, and then playing against like champs like Syndra, it feels really bad as Lilia. Like truly. So like if you farm slower, scale worse because now your sleep is also less uptime. I feel like at some point she must fucking crack, you know? Let's go to the next game. Let's see. So they're nerfing Ivern. E-shield down by 10. Slow, I guess only down by 5. I mean, I don't think that hurts Ivern that much, to be honest. So right now we have Ivern S. I think we'll keep him S. I don't think that's like a big change. Then we have Maokai. E cooldown is being... And the brush duration is... Okay, no, the brush duration is the same. It's the damage that is being loaded a bit. So we have Maokai where? Where the fuck is Maokai, guys? Am I blind? Oh, there he is. Jesus Christ. Holy shit, I'm actually blind. Alright, so look at Maokai win rate right now, right? The champ blows. And the reason why it's being nerfed, as I said previously, is for pro play. I think he stays down there. I already put him in a respectable bad position. I'll keep him to that bad position. I don't think this is gonna like change him that much. It's more of a pro player thing. Because like, I mean, it shouldn't matter too much, to be honest. Like, it will hurt his run rate a little bit more, but I already put him really far down, so it's chill vibes. What do we got next? Vi. Yeah. My girl is taking a hit again. She got buffed, and now she's getting nerfed. Just like that. We had fun for one patch, and you know, it's because of pro play. Again, this champ is like... This champ doesn't win, really. I feel like she's still gonna be good though. Like, I think Vi is one of those champs that is just strong by nature, but you have to play the champion well. So like, even though it has like a terrible win rate, I do think the champ is good. It just, people don't play it that well. But I will say, like, Jarvan is getting buffed, and Jarvan is really fucking strong already. Viego's, like, there's so many champs that are getting buffed that are probably better than her. So like, we might actually hit a point where we might have to change the... Because now they're kind of making it like where I'd like another tier as well. Okay, that was the nerfs for jungle. Then we have the buffs for jungle. Jarvan is getting buffed. I don't know why. But I could see this making him an S tier jungler. I know it's only 1% passive, but this is not the main factor. The main factor is the fact that the champion is already really good, and they're putting more and more AP mids back in the game, which makes Jarvan even better, right? Like, you have to consider the fact that, like, last patch they buffed TF, Ryze, Lysandra, which are all great with Jarvan, but now they're also nerfing some of the champs that counter Jarvan. Like, it's kind of frustrating to play Jarvan versus champs like Smolder and Corki mid, right? But they're nerfing those. Bro, do they just, like... I'm playing Scanner today. He knows. I should ban LeBlanc, by the way. If I'm gonna play Scanner today, and they're just banning, like, if they're just picking LeBlanc every single game, it's so fucking annoying, bro. This champ shits on me. This champ shits on me. So I think I'll move Jarvan up. I actually think this champ is really strong, and it shows in the win rates too. Like, he's actually getting quite powerful, and it's only gonna be better and better. So we'll move him one up. Then we have Viego. Base AD up by 3, but Q monster damage down by 5. So a little bit better skirmisher and probably similar clear speed. This is nice for Viego. And they're doing this because of pro play again. Because if you look at... I mean, actually, Viego might not be that great in solo queue. Yeah, he's kind of bad in solo queue too. But he's a very good champ. And I had him in S already. So I guess we'll just move him back to S. Question being if he'd ever be S+. But I don't think so, because this is like a solo queue tier list. And I do think Viego is not easy to play. Okay, let's see, what other changes were there? Sanchao, armor growth up, Q damage per hit, scaling up, maximum bonus damage, scaling up. So it's like level 6 you have like 1.2 armor more. That's like nice, but it's like, don't know how that's gonna... I don't think I'll move Sanchao up to S tier for that. I think he's still just gonna be a good jungler. So he'll be in the A tier department. Alright, let's play the game. You didn't see the request? I'm just memeing with you. So for jungle buffs, Sanchao, Viego, Jarvan, some nerfs. Now let's look at items. So Luden's is being buffed. Well, actually it's adjustments. So you get 5 AP, cost 50 gold less, and you lose 5 haste. Is that a buff on nerf, by the way? I don't know if that's a buff on nerf, to be honest. Is it buff to burst mages? Yeah, I mean that's true. For burst mages it's a buff, but for other champs it's a nerf. I'm just thinking, like, let's say you're a Orianna, Syndra. Is that a buff or nerf? Because Orianna, Syndra, like, technically speaking, they do have a lot of burst. But they also love having haste, so they can spam abilities. I mean, it's an adjustment. I don't think it's, like, a huge adjustment, to be honest. Losing haste for 5 AP, I actually don't know what I'd prefer on most champs. Shadow Flame. Lose 5 AP, get free magic pen. That's definitely a buff. That feels like a buff to me. Free magic pen for 5 AP, I'll take that. Threshold 35 to 40%, and dot amplifying 30 to 25. I'll be honest, when I see these kind of things, I feel like I'd almost have to like try it and feel the difference. Like, let's say like when you have like those items on you and you like do your combo, because I feel like this is like kind of hard to, it's a little bit hard for me to see like how much of a buff on nerf this is. the threshold. So like if we look at Shadow Flame, right? So Cinder Bloom is the, so now it's when they're below 40%, right? Instead of 35. And then you do less damage when you have that threshold. So like that's hard for me to like understand. Because like on one hand, it's nice that it procs at a higher health bar, but it also reduces your overall damage output, right? Or am I understanding something incorrectly? Only dot damage decreases? Okay, where's the dot damage from all of this? Where do you even see the dot damage? They're really buffing Viego, Malphite, and Jarvan? Yeah, it's for pro play. In solo queue, these champs also, they're already really strong. In the passive? Yeah, but isn't this the, like, isn't that the whole point of Cinder Bloom? Sorry? Like, I don't understand. Like, isn't that just like what Cinder Bloom does? To me, I just don't know if that's a buff or nerf. Because, like, non-dot damage is still 120%? Oh! I see what you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying now. So it's only on dot damage. So like for a lot of this, it would be a buff. And then, okay, I see. Okay, that makes sense. I get it now. I mean, that's kind of nice then. Because having it proc earlier should be pretty good for a lot of champs then. What other stuff? Storm Surge, 5 Magic Pen. Lose 3% movement speed. I mean, we might as well just bring the items up so we can see them together. Storm Surge. Here we are. So you lose 3% movement speed, you gain 5 Magic Pen, and the passive procs 25%. That's kind of nice actually, because having to deal 35% is not always easy. At the same time, like it's kind of weird because like they take 3% movement speed here for 5 Magic Pen. I would prefer the 3% movement speed, but then because now you can proc it more often, then you'll get movement speed because of that. So like you kind of get movement speed because of this, right? Because like now you can proc it easier. And then what was the last part of it? Squall ranged effectiveness. Okay, I don't know what the f that is. Hold up. Squall ranged effectiveness. After 2 seconds of having applied Squall, strike the target with Squall ranged effect. Oh, so on ranged champs it did 90%, now it does 100%. Or what? You have to be ahead on many champs to proc 35%, 25% is more even across the board. Yeah, I think that should be a buff. But we'll see how many champs will actually buy this item. Because as I said, like, I think they probably have like done some kind, you know, they've definitely done the math in this, right? They take 3% movement speed out of this, but then because you're proccing more often, then you'll like kind of feel like you have the movement speed anyway. But it sounds pretty good. I do think those adjustments are pretty good because this item is like kind of bad right now. Like a lot of champs don't want to build this item. So I think it's nice to like kind of adjusting it to be something that like more characters might want to purchase, right? I think that's good. Turret Bulwark. Bulwark? I don't know how to say that. Permanent resist per destroyed turret plate 40 to 50. Temporary resist per destroyed plate for 20 seconds. 45 champions to 20 per champion. And then they have the turret fortification. Okay, I mean this is what they're talking about, right? Where they're trying to make it less appealing to lane swap. So what they're doing is when you like, let's say you lane swap, right? Technically speaking, there can be 4 people hitting the turret in bot lane, right? So what they're doing is they are making that better when you're bot lane, because the damage reduction for the first 5 minutes is top and mid, right? Like it's not actually in bot lane if I remember correctly. Am I tripping here? Maybe I'm tripping here. I don't play laning. But I think it's where like, let's say that you're 4 people top and you're 4 people bot, then the 4 people bot can take the turret a lot faster than the people that are doing it top lane, right? Yeah, there you go. Wait, I just need to see like, this is a long time ago though. Am I tripping here? Like, I'm sorry, sometimes I mush things together. But it should be easier to take bot lane, right? So what they're doing is they're pretty much just saying, hey, we're gonna go even further on this. So like the issue is, let's say like enemy bot lane swaps top lane, level 1, and they split the map and they do lane swap, right? If you're trying to take the top turret, it's so much harder to do than taking bot turret. And then on top of that, now the 4 people hitting bot turret, they'll take it really, really quickly now, because what they have done is they lowered, so like if there's more champions, you can see here, more champions hitting the turret at the same time. Now it's only 20 extra resist, whereas it used to be 45. So what they're doing is like, let's say 4 people hitting the bot turret, they'll actually kill it a lot quicker. So like it'll, you know, lessen the, like they're trying to like not incentivize lane swapping, right? Which I think is I actually think that's like a pretty smart way about going about it. I'm excited to see how that works, because I really hope that there's no lane swaps that world. Sorry Team Liquid, I know you guys are really good at it, but hopefully your game plan is gonna get a smile. Then we have Fleet Footwork. Melee champions heal. They buff that and they nerf it for range champs, and they make it equal on minions. And You get more movement speed with your melee champ. I think these are good changes because like fleet footwork is really good in range champs, and there are some melee champs that do want to take fleet footwork too. But like you want to make sure that like the melee champs can still take it, because like they're just trying to like make range AD carries in solo lanes kind of fade away a little bit. So I think that's a good way of doing it. And always then nerfing Bloodthirster, that's about fucking time. This item has been like really fucking strong for a really long time. Taking 3% lifesteal away. I think this is like the biggest one. Lowering the shield. I think that's good, because I think the shield is like too oppressive, because they'll take Bloodthirster, and on top of that they'll also have barrier, and on top of that they probably have some fucking demon champ that can shield them too, so they just have so much extra health. And they literally become raid bosses themselves, right? Which is quite frustrating. And then the shield bow. Honestly, I don't have too many thoughts on the shield bow. I haven't really felt shield bow being too OP, honestly speaking. But I guess the data says it is, so be it, I guess. All right. So let's look at all the other champs. Now we looked at the junglers, so let's look at all the other champs, and then we can put people in after. So our E damage is being increased, actually a significant amount, no? So 40 at max rank, and then 15% ability power on E. That's kind of nice. Now gets 3 AD, kind of nice. Everyone loves 3 AD. Way shield strength for allies. Okay, I'll be honest, I don't care too much about that, but it's still nice. Javelin passive, obviously nice. Jax, we haven't gotten to see that yet, and he also wrote that they don't know what they're gonna do with Jax yet, but they're gonna buff him. Usually Jax buffs means Sajani is good, generally speaking. Jace, don't think that's too important. Jinx attack speed growth up, that's nice for Jinx, obviously. Lulu, passive damage per bolt up to... That's like a small buff, but it's actually kind of nice. It'll help her a little bit. Malphite's shield. This is good for top lane Malphites, obviously, because you get harassed the whole game. So it's nice having your shield up, giving more max health. Okay, so it just starts 10 higher now, right? So she'll have more kill threat, I guess. This is some shinding buffs. Buffing Shin. Bonus health. That's kind of nice. That's nice. That'll help a lot on the trades too. Like the short trades. Obviously, Viego buff, nice, and Shabos, okay. And then nerfs. Which champs did we not go over yet? Lysandra is actually getting a nerf on the Q-AP ratio. What was the reason for that, guys? Is it because of the other items that like will probably like make her stronger? I mean, she is strong, for sure. She's strong for sure. But they're buffing a bunch of control mages, which usually control mages are kind of good into Lysandra, unless, yeah. But either way, Lysandra's getting nerfed a bit. Misfortune getting nerfed, nice. Nasus is getting nerfed, very nice. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I don't want to watch Worlds where it's Nasus versus Garen. I'm not a big fan of that in the mid lane. Rel, movement speed nerf, and movement speed nerf. That's probably the best way you can nerf Rel too. Because I don't think she's... So you know how in Leona they nerfed the armor? I do think the reason why Leona is super broken is like partially because she's just too fucking tanky. And yeah, she has like a ton of CC, right? But for Rel, I don't think it's like too fucking tanky is what like I don't like about Rel. It is kind of like her engage potential and like the amount of movement speed she has. So I think that's good. Q damage. I hate when they have so many stats that I have to read. So it's 10% AP down. That's nice. Because I do think he's like a little bit overtuned still. And then 10 damage down on E. Which is also kind of significant, because they pretty much what they're trying to do is they're just trying to, like this is also what they did earlier, where they're just trying to nerf how OP Rumble is in laning phase. So like the E nerf is kind of good for that too. And then Smolder, so less damage on Q, I guess. They removed the AP ratio and just 5 damage less. And they nerfed the W a little bit too. So they're just trying to make Smolder like a weaker early game champ. So like he gets punished more, if especially if he's playing in solo lane, I guess. And then we have Varus. I definitely nerf Varus is good, because they did definitely overtuned him with lethality builds. That's why you see in all my games there's Varus in every single one of them. So I think that's good. 10% on the E ratio and 20% on the Q ratio. Okay, that's like a significant amount. But like if we look at let's see what Varus win rate even is right now. okay guys, it's for pro play, okay? It's chill. I think it's reasonable nerfs, because Varus is very strong right now. It's the same as like why they're nerfing Vi, right? Even though Vi has a shit rate. Then we have Sari. So passive damage is down by a good chunk, and also the target max health. And damage scaling stack growth linear. I wonder how that will look. But I definitely think it's good that they nerf her a little bit, because she's just like a really freaking annoying champion. But also like when they're nerfing like Sari, Smolder, these kind of champions, Corki, Asir, like this also just makes Jarvan a stronger champ, right? Because Jarvan is just not good against all the mobile champions. So All these you have to keep in mind are actually pretty good for like champs like Javan. And then we have 6. They're actually nerfing 6 too. Okay, so rest in peace, APA. Passive structure modifier. So pretty much you just do less damage when you're hitting your like bomb on the turrets, right? Like your auto attack bomb. Maybe I should not say bomb after that. I should say auto attack. So you gotta keep like it's pretty much just so he pushes turrets slower, which I think is reasonable because he pushes really fast. All right, so I've actually like it's a pretty big fucking patch notes. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. So let's look what we had before. So we have Bel'Veth. How has Bel'Veth been performing? She's still performing well, right? So like we're not wrong that she's a good champ. I think with these changes, Bel'Veth will still be up here. I think Kindred has also been doing very good. And also with how the meta is kind of shifting, should also be fine for Kindred. Fiddlesticks. I mean, I think Fiddlesticks is always really good in solo queue. Like this champ is just, it's just a good champion. I know it sounds like I don't know, like it's a weird universe when Fiddlesticks is really fucking good. I'm not gonna lie, but I do think this champ is very strong. Now when it comes to champs like Nidalee, this is gonna be tough because I don't think like Nidalee with AP mid. This kind of stuff sucks. And I don't think the champ is easy to play either. So I do think I'm going to move her down a little bit. Because I do think like, it's like if you're really good at the champ, even in like, in high challenger now, I really don't see many Nidalees anymore. And I think I'm only going to see less. Sure, like if you played like exceptionally, she's a very strong champ. But I don't know. When you nerf all the AD mids and stuff like that, usually Nidalee goes down in priority. I will say though, Nidalee is good with champs like TF and Ryze, right? That is one of the combos that you can run. But I'll move her down a little bit because I think that skill ceiling is really high. And this is for solo queue, not competitor, right? Shego, I'm still gonna say Shego is really strong. Like I think Shego is really strong. I don't really like AP Shego that much. I think AP Shego is worse in solo queue, but it's really fun. That's also why I play a lot of AP Shego when I do play Shego. But AD Shego I think is just really good. And AD Shego also works really well with champs like Ryze, LeBlanc, Lysandra, like it's stuff that locks down enemy mid laner, right? Then we have Hecarim. I'm pretty sure Hecarim is still really good. He still does well. He hasn't really been hit with any of these changes, but he's also really good against control mages, so keep that in mind if there are more control mages to be played. And then we have Udyr and Kha'Zix. Udyr is still running rampant. This champ is really strong. And I know I don't play it, but I just don't. I have this bias of how Udyr used to be, and I miss old Udyr so much, and that is like the only reason why I don't play Udyr. But this champ is good. As I said, Udyr, I mean, honestly, Udyr is really good still. Like, this champ is really strong. Let's do Diamond Plus, though. I don't like Emerald. I do think if the meta switches to being more AP-oriented mid lane, then I do think Rek'Sai should go up a tier. Because right now, the issue like I have with Rek'Sai is like, it just feels really bad when the other junglers AFK farming with like Lily or something like that, and then and then you just get outskilled. And if you have like both mid laners are playing like 80 champs mid, then it's like really hard to impact, like if it's like Smolder vs Corki or something like that. But I do think like because of how the meta might be shifting, I do think Rek'Sai will become better in solo queue again. Is anything from this list that let's put some junglers back. Teemo in B tier. We'll put Briar in B tier. So for Briar, the lower elo you are, the better this champ is. If you're like Iron 4, this Briar champ is probably S+ tier, to be honest. If you're a challenger, go straight down here. So it kind of like, I just put it in the middle because quite frankly, it just depends what elo you're in. Amumu is very good. What is the win rate on Amumu? Honestly, a very good champ. Should I just, I'll throw him up here, I'll be honest. I don't think this patch changes anything. I just think, I swear to God, Amumu is so good. That being said, I don't even think Brand is like terrible. But if it's also going to be more AP champs in mid lane, I am down to throw him down a little bit. I will say though, like if you're just AFK farming on Brand, this champ is still very good. It's just like, it has gotten nerfed many times, right? There's no way I can put it in the same tier as this. Nah, I cannot. I cannot. There's no way, bro. I'm not putting it together with Teemo and Briar. That sounds cope. What else do I have in the B tier? I mean, the win rates though. Gragas, 8. Did I have Gragas in A before? I did have him in A before. Why is Trundle always bad? I mean, bro, like, the reason why Trundle is bad right now is because Trundle top was really strong, and then because Trundle top was really strong, they nerfed Trundle top, and then because of that, Trundle Jungle got hit. And then because, like, the meta has been a lot of AP junglers with like, ranged mid laners, then Trundle has also been worse because of that. But that might change soon, right? Because they keep nerfing AP junglers. But honestly, guys, like, fuck it. Let's just put it, fuck it. Agreed? Agreed. Fuck the brand. He's good though. He's not Teemo level, bro. I think we changed it up. We do it like this. Okay, now it looks good. Now it looks human again. We're back. But honestly, but he is Teemo level. Maybe he is Teemo level. What if he is Teemo level? Anyone got a problem with that? He's Teemo level. Like, Teemo is also a fine gem. Where's Silas? Trundle's good into Sadrani? That's f***ing facts, bruh. I have a Sadrani. Where's Sadrani? Oh yeah, here. I have Sadrani in A tier. It just doesn't win, bro. It's the same. It just doesn't win. But I swear to God, it's like, it's a good champ. It's not a bad champ. Like, it really isn't a bad champ. So I'm gonna stick to my guns on the Sadrani, to be honest. I'll put it back. I'll put it back in the A tier. I know this champ doesn't win a lot, but like, it's because people are not picking it in the right situations. This is a champ that you have to play with melee champions. And if you just pick it in any game, like, it's not gonna feel good. Like, you have to pick it like in very specific situations with melee champs where it makes sense, and you're not against like an AFK farming jungler, right? So like, it's very situational. But if it's very situational, like, maybe we should put a B tier just because. I just put it down here. I'll be a little bit more like, I'll be a little bit nicer with where I put stuff. I think that, man. I think Diana will be worse if the meta changes to AP mids. You really don't want to play Diana with AP mids. Like, that blows. It really does. We want Toxic Lucas? I'll be toxic, don't worry about it. Wait, I just closed it. We're back. I know Graves' win rate is probably pretty doo-doo, but I still think this champ is pretty good. Then we have Elise. What is Elise's win rate actually? Because I think this champ is not bad. C tier. So with, like, if mid-meta is changing, right? Like, Elise does become a weaker champ, generally speaking. But I still think Elise in solo queue can always be really effective. Like, Elise is just a very strong early game champ, right? So, like, if you can be proactive, you can definitely, like, take over games. Even though, like, quote-unquote, like, there are better champions, right? But I don't think this champ is actually that weak. When it comes to Shyvana, this is where it gets interesting, because I think, personally speaking, Shyvana with AP champs fucking blows. Like, playing Shyvana mid with AP mid, like, so let's say you have a control mage mid plus Shyvana, not very good. Not very good. And I do think, like, the nerfs have hit her pretty hard. Like, she isn't just like that vacuum farming OP jungler anymore. Now she's a vacuum farmer, pretty good jungler. So Kafis, I don't know why. Do you guys remember? Why did Kafis receive a big, like, why did his win rate spike this patch? Do you guys remember? What did they change? I unironically forgot. But that's something that made him just have a high win rate, and I forgot what it was. I don't think it'll change where I like to have Kafis, so I think he's a A tier champion. He's just kind of like, he's just kind of farming a storm, to be honest, and then he just becomes strong because of that, right? And we have a champ like Nocturne. Usually Nocturne is one of those champs that, like, if you look at win rates, it's usually not super high. Hold up. I do find Nocturne to be like, just like, I usually have him here because I don't think he, like the champ is not bad. It really isn't. Like, it really isn't a bad champ. And if it's gonna be more like a control mage just mid, that'll also make Nocturne slightly better, right? So because of that, like, I do think him being A tier is probably where he should be. Not bad, not great. Just kind of like in between. Then we have Lee Sin. I mean, Lee Sin is, I think win rate is probably gonna say he's pretty low. But generally speaking, like, if you're a good Lee Sin player, you'll probably have a pretty good success rate on the champion. I just think the champ is very hard to play, and that's like the main issue, right? Like, it's not rewarding unless you have like a lot of games on it. And we have something like Wukong. I think I'll still keep him A tier. I think, generally speaking, I do think him, like, generally speaking, when you nerf AP junglers, that's good for Wukong. And when it's Bruiser jungle meta, where you're playing against champs like Xin Xiao, Vi, like, you know, these kind of champs, Wukong is actually in a really good spot. And they also buffed Wukong recently. I don't think he's gonna be like S tier jungler though, but I do think like he still deserves his place in the A tier. I mean, I don't think Zac is bad, but like, I think I'd still keep him in the A tier, to be honest. I don't think he's moving anywhere. He's just a good jungler. Lee Sin is like Draven? Kind of, yeah, kind of. It's also very early game oriented. Gwen, I still freaking love Gwen. I think this champ is very good. There's not enough people that play this champ. Gwen also has a good win rate. I don't think anything impacted her this patch though, so we'll keep her there. Evelynn, I actually don't know what Evelyn's win rate is. So it's a B tier-ish win rate, but I do think there's a lot of champs in solo queue that just by design is really annoying to play against. Evelynn is one of them. Because like after level 6, especially in lower yellow, like people just don't think about Evelynn. So you can just walk into a lane and kill them. And that is pretty broken. And even in like later game, you can like one-shot enemy AD carries usually. And I think it's only in high yellow where like they start buying a bunch of pink wards and like they're pink warding everywhere to make sure you spot the Evelynn and that kind of stuff. So I'll actually keep her here. You can definitely like, you know, like champion strength, I don't think she should be A tier, but I do think because of it's kind of similar to Elise, right? Just the nature of how solo queue works. These champions are just like demons. Shen isn't good for jungle, nope, and Sylas neither. The reason why they're down here is because their clears are really shit. Their clears are really shit. That's the main issue. How's Kiana's win rate? As I expected. Yeah, because Kiana is a very hard champ to play. I do think like if you're really good at Kiana, you can make it work in the jungle, but I'm gonna put it in the C tier because it's just not worth trying to learn this champ. And quite frankly, it doesn't win most jungle matchups, and because of that, it feels kind of bad to play. Mordekaiser, not the same concept actually. I think the reason why Mordekaiser is in the tier is straight up just. I mean, what do we put Mordekaiser in the tier? Yo, does anyone even play Mordekaiser? Nobody plays Mordekaiser. But the reason why I would put Mordekaiser in the C tier is because I had him in the B tier before, I believe. But I'm gonna move him down one because the issue is like this champion just AFK farms, and it's just fucking farms, right? And then it skills. Then you hope you can beat the other jungler 1v1 or like the other player 1v1, whoever you ults. But the issue is Mordekaiser with AP mids. That is just a no-go. I would never want to see like Orianna Mordekaiser mid jungle when Mordekaiser in this state that he is right now, because he's not that good of a jungler to begin with. So I'm gonna call a no on that one. Darius, I might as well just add a bunch of junglers. Darius, I just don't think this guy is that great. He's gonna be in the C tier. He actually is fast clear. His skirmishes are pretty good, but he's just not the same threat he is in top lane, right? Where you can just like have ghost flash. I think that's the biggest issue. You can't take both of those summoners, so it feels kind of bad when you're playing the game. Then we have a Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix is an assassin, a very good assassin to be honest. I'm sure this guy also has a high win rate. He does, and because it's gonna be more like control mages potentially, this only makes Kha'Zix better to be honest. So I'm gonna keep him up in S tier. Then we have Echo. I feel like does Echo win a lot? Because I feel like he does. I do think Echo is like a good champ. Usually I don't see much of Echo in solo queue, but I really think he's still good. Doing a tier list? Yes sir, I'm doing it for next patch. Also the Worlds patch. And we're trying to find some sense in the shenanigans. Also I think I put Mundo up here, I believe. Yeah, I put Mundo in A tier before. I still think this champ is fucking good, but like it just doesn't win. People don't even play it, hello? Not a lot of people play Mundo. But I swear to god this champ is actually good. I don't think I'm gonna move this guy down. I will say like, I think this Mundo champ is like actually slept on, but maybe I should put it down here just because I put a lot of champs down here now, not like before. Now I'm kind of like putting more champs down here, and I think because of that I'll just move Mundo a tier down because not a lot of people play it, and it's not like you want to play it every game, so I'll just move it down just in case. But I actually think this, like, I think a lot of these champs in the right situation can be really strong. I also think that's one of the things that Riot has actually done a really good job on recently. Something that I think in the past they've done a pretty bad job on. But like actually I think the last, like especially this year, after like you know, or like last year, like whenever they made the jungle pet changes, I feel like a lot of junglers are becoming viable, which is very fun to play. Nico, still just the same old. I'll flip her, I should have put her in C tier, B tier. Because I find this champ is still fine, but I don't think a lot of people play it, and I'll put her in the C tier. I think the C tier will be like the more cringy junglers that like are really niche. So I'll put her in C tier, even though like she's not bad, but you're not gonna like see a lot of her to be honest. You could be on my put Trundle as well. Bro, I want Trundle buffs. Like if I was doing it right for Tilas, I wouldn't put this down here obviously, but I want her. I want him buffed, man. This champ is not great. This champ is not great. All right, let's see what other junglers do we have. I'm adding more junglers this time because why the f not? We are playing a lot of junglers on our account, so we might as well just add more. I mean, Cho'Gath, he's down here too. He's not good. He's not really a jungler anymore. Sag. I mean, Garen, C tier, smiley face. He's actually like, you can win on Garen. Didn't we play it too? Wait, what was my account again? Teletubbies? I don't think Garen, like, it's just, there are champions that you can't just lock in. Okay, it was not on, it was on my Smurf. It was with Kelsey, I guess. There are champs you can just play that, like, are niche, and they're not, like, great. But because jungle right now, you can play so many different champs in the role. Like, if you are one of those people that just want to have fun, while still, like, playing a champ that can technically work in the jungle, like, there's so many options now. That's why I'm adding more. My mind has been opened, bro. What is Jax's win rate? They're buffing Jax, okay? Keep that in mind. They're buffing Jax. And usually speaking, Jax is very good against champs like Viego. So if Viego is getting buffed and the meta is changing a little bit and they're buffing Jax, you can see this guy not being too bad. In specific situations, right? Acel jungle? I'm gonna have to pass on that one. I think that's, I mean, maybe you could technically speaking lock it in, but I don't recommend it. Nasus Cho'Gath and the Fury? Yeah, we'll get to them. Kayn, I feel like Kayn is also one of the solo queue demons that like actually work pretty well in solo queue, even if it's not like super strong 1v1. So I'm gonna keep him in A tier. I think the champ is good. Where's the next one? Yi, probably? Where's Yi right now? How is Yi doing? He's probably doing pretty good. Yeah, he's doing very good actually. But I don't see much Yi in my elo. I'd probably put him A or B tier though. Probably A tier because I do think like if you're really good at Yi, it's not a bad champ at all. Oh, here we are. Nefiri. I mean, no explanation. Down there. Smiley face. You can play Nefiri jungle, but it's not very good. Same for Mr. Nasus. You can play Nasus, but it's just not that good of a jungler. It's more like you just farm it up and scale. And I think that's fine. Morgana, I think Morgana is B tier, honestly. Did I put Morgana B tier last time? I put her A tier. She actually wins a lot. But with this, I mean, actually, nah, I'd put her B tier because I'm changing my tier list a little bit where I'm putting more champs in the B tier. She's good, but like she's not that good. She's just kind of there. I think Olaf is B or A tier, honestly. I'd probably say A. Oh, it depends who's playing it though, because I think this champ is it's not easy to play. And if you fall behind at all, you just become kind of useless. So maybe I'll put a B tier. I do think Olaf beats a lot of the B tier junglers in isolation. But just like, it's just not easy to play. And it's not like, it doesn't feel very rewarding unless you're strong and fed. And even if you are fed, you might very well run it down. Nunu, good champion. Always will be, I think. Just basically just the design of Nunu. Like you literally just run around and gank people. And people will a lot of the time die to it. So it's always going to be... It's kind of like the similar concept to like Evelynn, like these kind of champions. You just like... People just fucking die, dude. So it's a good champ. Pantheon. Probably put Pantheon down here. I think Pantheon is... it's playable, for sure. Like I think Pantheon is like... It's not like the end of the world. Should I put it higher? Like can I really put... Pantheon down with these people? I think we'll move it up here. I think Pantheon is like a fine champ. Like it's not great, it's not terrible. It just kind of is there. Good ganker, actually fine clear. I'll put it up a little bit. The win rate is like also saying is actually not. I was actually a little bit surprised that it was like this high, considering it's Pantheon. Because Pantheon, like he does have a place in the early game. It's just if you ever fall, like you have to make sure you don't fall behind. Because if you fall behind, you're really useless. But you do have like pick potential, right? So that's pretty good. Then we have Puppy. How does Puppy do in solo queue? I think this champ is like always gonna be like fine, but it's never gonna be like amazing unless unless it like giga buff it randomly. It's just like one of those champs. Like it's just like a huge blocker for a lot of different champs designs, right? And then it's a very strong early game side lane diver. And it's very good at like low free fights if you can like slam people into the wall. But that being said, it's very hard to solely carry as a puppy because you just don't scale as well as like a lot of the other junglers, right? Like you're really about like getting your teammates ahead and kind of playing that kind of style. And then like in team fights, a lot of the time you'll just use your puppy ult to like try to ult a couple of people out from the enemy team. So it's like an odd number fight, right? So I think because it's solo queue, I shouldn't put her as high. I put her up here before, but I feel like you have to be really smart about the game with where you're pressuring on the map, and your teammates have to be really good with you. So it's like, it's harder to pull off. But it's a very good champ into a lot of the A tier junglers. Really good against Vi, pretty good against Xiao, really good against Gragas, Graves, Wukong, Lee Sin, Zac, like these kind of champs, it's actually really good against. So keep that in mind if, where the fuck do we put Rammus? I think it's a B tier kind of champ now, no? I think it's gonna be worse though, because if it's gonna be like control mages mid and stuff like that, or like more AP oriented champs, like Rammus automatically feels worse, right? Like I think last patch I put it at A tier, but he's also better against AD junglers. So it's kind of like give and take. It's kind of give and take. It's just whether I want to put him like. That's a tough one for me because I think Rammus is one of those champs where like in the right situation he's really really good, but I think the right situation just doesn't come that often. So I'll put him down here, but you could debate putting him in A tier, like which I did earlier. Like there will be games where Rammus is really good, right? What do I have next? I mean Rumble. I think Rumble. You can play Rumble jungle, to be honest. Like you still can, but I don't find the champ to be worth like playing. It's also I do think Rumble is actually pretty hard to play. Like heat management and all that kind of stuff, and how to like clear effectively. So I'll probably put him down here. You could argue B tier, but I don't think it's worth like putting that much investment into it. You could arguably jungle on, but I wouldn't like recommend it. So maybe I shouldn't put it on the tier list. What else do we got? Jungle got nerfed too much. Useless. Rengar is probably A tier jungler. Rengar is like pretty much it's the same assassins. And if you play Rengar really well, it's pretty good. What is the talent win rate actually? It's also decent. I think what we could do is, I think this makes sense. Because now I'm like putting more champs in B tier, more champs in C tier, then it makes sense talent is B. I think here, like I think arguably I could have moved talent up because I do think talent's a pretty good jungle. We also play a lot of talent jungle ourselves on this account, for example. And it feels pretty good. And Talon Jungle is pretty good at killing control mages too. It would be cool if they made Briar better, stronger. She has a cool kit. Yeah, just because of the game design, it's really hard for Briar to actually be a good champ in high elo. It'd be nice if they could change how the WE works somehow change it where like you're not so linear. Like be able to do more as a champion, because right now it's just like there's too much counterplay. That's the issue. Scanner, my lovely Scanner. I actually think I'll put Scanner up here. I think Scanner is actually really good again. I've been playing a lot of Scanner recently because I was a Scanner 1 when it first got changed, and since then I've literally just been spamming Scanner today, and then I feel like we were pretty good success with it. Sure, we lost a lot today, but I do not think it's unlucky. Take it as you wish. Take it as you wish. I think the champ is very good. I'm just debating whether it should be A or S tier. I think we'll keep it on A, but I do think the champ is very good, and I'm happy he's back, and I'm happy he's not super broken. It's just a good champion. I love that. Charlie Jungle, probably B tier. I feel like this champ, especially now if there's going to be more control mages mid, generally speaking. There were metas where you'd play like Ryze Talia, TF Talia, but that was when Talia jungle did a lot of damage and you're very early game oriented, you just do a bunch of ganks. I think now with how Talia is, it's a lot more farming. Which makes her like weaker in the early game, and then you don't really want to play Talia plus like those kind of champs in the mid lane. So I think we'll have her here. You could argue she could be up in A tier though, to be honest, but I find there's just easier champs to play. I think Talia is just like a way harder brand, where Talia has better gang potential, but worse team fighting. And Brand is just like really, really easy to play. Whereas like Talia, if you miss your W, like you're toast. Whereas like, yeah, okay, if you miss Brand Q on a blaze target, yeah, the guy's not stunned and you might die because of it. But you still do a ton of damage with your full combo. You just throw out your keyboard, like you just click all your buttons and you'll still perform in the team fights. Whereas Talia, it's a lot harder. So I think Brand is just easier to play. We're almost done with the list. Volibear. I love me some Volibear. How was the win rates though? Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, honestly, I think we can argue Volibear's up here, because what is going to happen is if it's going to be less of the AP junglers, more of the AD junglers. First of all, Volibear is good into most of the AD junglers, and Volibear is really good with control mages and mages and AP in general. So I'm gonna be nice. Warwick, I think it's the B2 champ. I think this champion. What? Does it just get worse and worse? It gets worse. I think it's better. Bro, what happened to Warwick in low elo? Hello? What happened? Why is Warwick dominant? why is Warwick so good in low elo? Okay, I mean, I'll put it up in the A tier just because, I guess. Like, honestly speaking, I don't think Warwick is that amazing in high elo. I just don't think so. But I will say one of the Warwick's best strengths is obviously like his sniffing power. When someone gets the trail of blood, which is when people are low and fighting a lot, you just like run them down. So maybe in low elo that's even more broken. And that would make sense. I'll just put it in A tier, sure, whatever the fuck, but I'd probably put it in B tier if, what else do we got? Zed? Zed is probably a B tier. I actually think Zed is better than most of these guys. I'll put him up here. Really, really fast clear and actually pretty strong. That being said, I don't think the win rates will support that, will it? Not really. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be biased. Am I biased? Maybe I'm biased. Like, we also play a good chunk of Zed. It's a one-trick champ. If you're really good at the champ, it's good. If not, you probably just lose. I'll just put a C tier. And Syra has to be B tier. I know this is gonna like be really low. Oh, it got better. Okay, I mean then I'm not even biased about this one. I think Syra is kind of similar to Brand, where you just farm a storm, and no matter how the game is going, at some point you'll be useful. And because of that, like that just makes you know, they'll make for games where especially if like the games go long, you just become really strong, and it's very fairly easy to play. Alright, so when it comes to, did I add everything? Let's see, what did I not add? So we have, is there any jungler that I didn't add? Let me just quickly look through it. No, I pretty much added every jungler. So like now it comes to like, what is S+? Will there be any S+? I personally think, I feel like Javan is super good. Can Taric be jungle? Oh, true, Taric. Facts, I'll add Taric. Boom, baby. He can be C tier. He's one of those champs that like it just doesn't like it's not strong. Also, if you were to play Taric jungle, always stop blue buff. If you don't stop blue buff, game is already over. Because you run out of mana after one camp. You better stop blue. So when it comes to like the best junglers, they're nerfing Iron, they're nerfing Lilia. Udyr is still kind of a beast. Like, this champ is a beast. It hasn't been a beast for a very long time. And Udyr is also one of the junglers that is good with control mages too. I feel like this good. And Javan as well. I think Javan is really good too. Guys, if it's up to you, what do you think is the best jungler? Like right now, and then what do you think will be on the next patch too? I feel like if I were to put something up here, I don't even know, like it's Udyr, like, I mean, Udyr is kind of good, but it's like, I don't see much Udyr in my elo. I feel like Sajani is so busting Diamond Masters. I agree. I think Sajani is very good with melee champs, but it just doesn't really win for most people. So I'm trying to like not be, I'm trying to be less and less biased by the tier lists, because I feel like in the past I've been a little bit too biased. So I'm trying to change that. Where's Brand? Brand is down here. Bing chillin'. Bing chillin'. I put Brand in B tier. Is Briar a jungler? Yes sir. Is indeed a jungler. Okay, let's think. If it's gonna be more control mages, I don't know if it will be more control mages, but they're trying to make it more control mages and less AD mids, which means less mobility. Less mobility usually means Javan is really good. They're also nerfing Vi, which I don't like. It's for pro play, right? They're nerfing Vi for pro play, even though she's like not amazing in solo queue right now. Then we have champs like Rek'Sai, but I don't see much Rek'Sai in my elo, and I don't think Rek'Sai has as much like carry potential as Javan. Like if Javan gets ahead, he's actually really good at team fighting too. But Rek'Sai's not really a good team fighter. That's always been one of the Rek'Sai issues, or weaknesses rather. It makes no sense why so low win rate in 80k meta. It's just because it's hard to play. Like you have to be really good with your decision making. 1% passive is not like, bro, there's no way I'm putting like I really struggle putting stuff in S+. That's also why my previous tier lists have not had anything in S+. So should we instead just like remove it for now? Like does that look better? Because like I added an S+ because in the start of the year there were champs that were super broken. Like Lilia was super broken. Brand was super broken. At some point Shyvana was super broken. But right now, like, is there anything that's super broken? You need the S+ for reference even if it's empty? Maybe I do. It just looks weird, no? You think Udyr is S+? I mean, I think Udyr is very good. I think it's very good. Yeah, honestly, having an empty S+ tier makes sense if you don't think anything is good. I mean, I guess that makes sense, yeah. I personally don't think there's anything that's super OP right now. I can't think of anything at least. Like, what I'm thinking is like there's no champ. Like, guys, you've had this too, right? Where like there's metas where if X champion is open, you're sweating for dear life. And you're like, who the f didn't ban that champion, right? I don't feel like there's anything for jungle there is that way right now. Like, I'm not really... there's been so many metas where like, I literally, like, as a jungler, I start banning like Lilia myself. Because I'm like, bro, I don't want to play my 100th game of Lilia. Like, this champ has been so broken, you know what I mean? So it's like I don't want to give it to the other team, but I also get tired of playing it because it's, you know, like when you play the same champ over and over again, like I want to play something else, you know. Did the nerf Rel complete out of the jungle? Yeah, they got it, the shit out of her clear. It's like almost unclearable now. I mean, maybe we'll just keep it like that. I think that's fine. We can just keep it like this. How do I? I'll just change it like that. I think, yeah, it's weak as f. But yeah, I think this is gonna be my tier list for next patch. I think there will be a significant amount of changes, but I think it's, you know, I mean, they're doing it because of Worlds, right? So like, I don't, you know, what they're doing for solo queue doesn't make sense, and you gotta keep that in mind. Like, for example, as I said previously, like when they're nerfing Vi, when you look at Vi, it literally has a like really low win rate, pretty much like D tier jungler, and they're buffing Jarvan, which is an A tier jungler. It's just because they're doing it for pro play, right? So this patch is a little bit different, but they've also changed a lot of things, which I think is for the better. Because having AD carries mid all day, every day is a little bit too cringe, honestly. So I'm excited. But that is gonna be it for my stream though, and my tier list. So hopefully we can be more accurate this time. But as I said, like I'm just excited to see if there's actually anything S+, because I can't really figure it out.